Good morning, C2E2! We are about to bring out some of the most iconic people we have had on stage this weekend. That cheer was way too polite and Midwest of you. I need you to be a lot louder as we welcome to the stage the talent behind Jurassic Park. Put your hands together for Joseph Mazzello! Let's keep it going for Wayne Knight! And give a big old cheer for Ariana Richards! And last but not least, the man, the myth, the legend himself, BD Wong!
What theme was that? I didn't.
I think it was Batman.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
30 years, can't get that out of my head, and then you play it. Oh, well, okay.
I like to think that that's your alarm clock and you wake up to it every morning.
No, it's just a throat fan and a spit.
Oh.
That's what I use.
So I wanted to open this panel by asking everybody what their favorite dinosaur is, but that seemed too basic. So I reached out to my friend Stephen Ray Morris, who hosts the See Jurassic Right podcast, and he said to ask you not only what your favorite dinosaur is, but would you do an impression of them for us?
No.
My favorite dinosaur is the sparrow. And here is my impression.
Expecting that.
It's clever. Anyone else feeling sufficiently brave?
I'm switching it. I'm switching it up.
Let it go.
I'm going back to T-Rex. I don't care if it's basic. Shut up.
Can you do a T-Rex?
Well, that's why, because like me and my brother when we were kids, we used to like play these little characters where we would put our like elbows inside our shirts and like kind of have little arms like this. And it always kind of reminded me of the T-Rex. Should I do the whole interview? Just like.
Yeah, please. You're gonna have people asking you to do that for photo ops for the rest of your life now.
Fine. As long as they come.
You'll be canceled for that on YouTube. You realize that, don't you?
I'm ready.
Ariana, do you have a favorite dinosaur?
My favorite
Yes.
dinosaur now? Okay, yeah, now I'm really on the spot. So, okay. I really have to say, when I was filming, I guess my favorite was probably the Brachiosaurus. So, but how am I going to do it,
Which is our old brontosaurus.
yeah, the old Brontosaurus. So the impression of that one, all I could say is, shoo!
Ooh! Cute. Okay, beautiful friends in the audience, this is your experience today as much as it is our experience up on stage. So there are two microphones here and here, very politely without elbows. If you want to start lining up now, we are happy to get to your questions and let you talk to all the amazing people up here. So now is your time. Politely start to line up.
Are these monitors working? Because we're boomy as hell.
I'm gonna say nice friends backstage. We have thoughts. Ooh, I see we already have.
Oh, somebody's lit.
Spotlights.
Gosh,
That's
like, look
great.
at this. They have a spotlight.
All right, let's dive right in. We'll go over here first. Hi, nice friend.
Hi.
What is your name? Where are you from?
I'm from the suburbs. Sorry.
And what is your question?
I want to know if you've seen Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous and what you think of it, if you've seen it.
Have you seen Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous? And
Is
yes,
that the cartoon one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. Should I?
Yeah.
Do you highly recommend?
It's really good.
Is it better than Jurassic Park 1?
No, but it's
Okay.
good.
I don't see anything I'm not paid to be in.
iconic behavior only. Thank you so much for kicking this panel off with the first question. Nice friend with the sunglasses. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
Hello, hi. My name is Grace. I'm from Chicago.
Woo.
And my question is, for all of you, how much of your characters' personalities were you working to channel the writer and director's direction, and how much were you free to bring into it yourselves? Especially the kids, I'm interested to hear, as a child actor, what you brought to the role.
You know, as kids, I think Joe and I can both agree that we had a lot of free reign creatively. So Stephen would just hang out with us and play a card game and chat about things on the set. Meanwhile, throwing little tidbits of ideas at us about the next upcoming scene, and maybe get ideas from us on how we wanted to portray that moment. So he liked us to be natural. He wanted us to bring ourselves to the table, which was fun.
Yeah, he really let us ad lib a lot, like a lot. I can remember distinctly a few scenes, like kind of coming down the tree. That was one when we're like kind of walking up and we see that, the dinosaurs are breeding. He really let us gave us a lot of freedom, which was pretty awesome. The set did feel really free and loose, and I love working like that to this day. And Stephen was also notorious for doing one take, right? If he got it on the first take, you were done. He didn't care that it was on film and you can't, he's Steven Spielberg. He can go back if he wants to, I guess. But, so yeah, he had a lot of trust, and the set was amazing. And I think that it was nice having that experience so young, because it helped me feel that looseness throughout my career.
I actually think that Stephen directed me in the same fashion. Because really, I was cast from being in Basic Instinct. He saw me in that film, sweating and looking at Sharon Stone, and thought, what if that were a dinosaur? And it's like, if I can manipulate a child who has absolutely no experience, I'm sure that fat guy, I can make him work. So there was a freedom to find yourself. And as a young character actor, I had not been given the kind of latitude that you would get as a lead to be able to ad lib and to be able to be free in that circumstance. And the only thing that Stephen kind of imposed upon me was glee. That Nedry was gleeful, always. And that was hard for me to figure out how to inject. And then eventually, when we got into the death scene and being around, the Dilophosaurus and being in the jungle, I began to get really scared and loosened up, and that's when he really liked it. It's like, now we're here, go, go, go. And so it was always very encouraging and enthusiastic, except, and free in a way that, when you're a master, when you got it, you don't have it. You're not worried about somebody doing something you don't want. You can, So it was pretty amazing.
I was really nervous around him, and I was only there for one day, and I think I did feel a sense of freedom, but it was a little bit less. There was a little less room for freedom for me, and what was wonderful about him for me was his kind of generosity of spirit and his kind of knowing that I was nervous and kind of welcoming me to the set with a kind of generosity that really helped me to relax about it. I did have a little bit more in collaboration in the Jurassic World movies with Colin Trevorrow than I did with Stephen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Nice friend, what is your name, where are you from, and what is your question?
Hi, my name is Brianne, and my question is, do you have a favorite behind-the-scenes moment?
Should I say something? Okay, I'll say something. Favorite behind-the-scenes moment. Okay, I'll tell one of my famous stories. Some of you may have heard this already, but we were doing the kitchen scene, and we shot that over 2 weeks. One of those days was actually my birthday, so that was fun. And I got injured on my birthday because when I was running into the freezer, that particular raptor was on wheels. It was like a shopping cart raptor. And we did it like 10 times. Something wasn't working. I'm supposed to go left. It's supposed to go right. And on take 11, I go left. The guy who is shopping loses control of the raptor, and it goes left with me. And I turn around, I don't know why, and its claw hit me, metal claw, straight in the middle of the head, like between my eyes. and I fall down. They stop everything. Everyone's worried. You know, I'm a little bit dazed down there, but Steven comes over to me. He's like, "Are you all right, Joey?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. He's like, "Okay, well, I guess this is as good a time as any. Ready, everybody? Happy birthday." And everyone sang happy birthday to me. We had cake while I was still on the ground recovering. And if you want to know something about Steven Spielberg, when that all ended, he came up to me. He says, "Joey, do you think we could do one more?"
And that's one of your favorite memories from this?
Of course. I mean, I got cake.
I've got a memory from behind the scenes where it was one of those comical stories. I have told this before, so I don't know if you've heard it, but so there's the scene where I'm supposed to climb onto Sam Neill's back and go down the side of the wall when we're in that T-Rex paddock moment and this pelting rain and I'm screaming, "Timmy, Timmy." And so I wasn't really a method actress or anything, but I would get really into my role, right? I was focused. So I was kind of thinking of this scene as this continuum where I would go through all the moments. And somehow it didn't really dawn on me that there was going to be a cut at some point. But I was just in it. And so there we go. My mom, vantage point, watching on the monitor next to Steven. She sees me up on the ledge screaming, "Timmy, Timmy, Timmy." I get on Sam Neill's back. She sees me promptly lean back. Sam's eyes get wide open and he and I go over the edge down the crevasse. And we're out of the frame. And she's wondering, okay, what just happened to my daughter? Steven's laughing, my daughter's gone, like what's happening? There was this huge crash mat down at the bottom. So, right, we were fine, this big mattress, whatever. However, after that moment, I don't know if I had any effect on Sam, but he did buy a winery after Jurassic and set that up in New Zealand.
I got nothing.
Me neither.
I had nothing. I was scared. I guess there's a word for it, but we don't use it in mixed company. It means you have no defecation material within you. I was frightened all the time. I wanted to do well, and so I wasn't like, "Well, what's going on? Hey." No. I'm just desperately trying not to screw up.
Well, thank you for your question and the trauma that it brought up. Back over to this side. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
Hi, my name is Monica, St. Paul, Minnesota.
Woo!
Woo! Ice out. Quick question, might be a little strange. Was it really hot on set, or was it like going to the Rainforest Cafe every day? I mean, was it like rainforest hot, or just kind of like me? It's just spray hot.
Well, it's not. When we were shooting this, I was shooting stuff in Kauai at Blue Hole, which is the rainiest place on the planet. It rains there 360 days a year, but they still had tanker trucks. I don't know why, but they're pushing rain on me, and I'm reading the sign that says non-potable water, and you're like, everybody else is in rain gear and except me, and I didn't think about cold or heat too much. I was just wet, but I don't think comfort was what we were looking for anyway. You know, so if you felt out of place, out of sorts, out of time, that's the way you're supposed to feel. And that's what looks best on you because you're enduring, you know? So I didn't think about comfort.
Hawaii had some beautiful weather when we were there. Joe and I would go boogie boarding in the ocean after filming in the afternoons with our siblings. So it was a really difficult shoot there, I have to say. And then back in Universal Studios, I remember it being kind of cold because there were these rain machines on set for a couple of weeks with the T-Rex paddock, the big giant mud pit about 3 feet high, this cold, squelchy mud. And I just drank a bunch of hot tea, I think, to stay warm during that whole thing.
BD, you giggled when the question was asked.
Well, I was in a climate-controlled studio.
So you had a lovely, wonderful time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your question. Hi, friend. What is your name? Where are you from? What is your question? An A+ Deep Space Nine shirt, if I may say
Yes.
so.
Boldly staying in one place. Chris Hansen from Oak Park, Illinois, right on the edge of Chicago here. And my question is, if you could play any other role in the first movie than the one you did, what would you play and why? Adjust age as necessary.
Guy on toilet.
What do you say?
Definitely.
Martin.
Marty Ferrero. Yeah. I don't know if I smoked at the time. If I did, it would be Sam Jackson. But
Whichever character was in the most sequels.
whichever character was in one sequel, I would be very, thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. What a great question. Hello, young friend. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
My name is Ahmed. My question is, what was your favorite line?
Ooh, favorite lines.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Well, for me, it's stick, stupid. Fetch the stick. I mean, the idea of holding a stick in front of an animatronic dinosaur and saying that is still, you know, it's a rarity. You don't have that happen in your life very often.
Where's the goat?
I always loved "We're Back in the Car Again."
I don't think I have a favorite. They're all so wonderful.
That's all right.
That's a good answer. They were all so wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your question. Hi, friend. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
Hi, my name is Whitney, and I'm from Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. And my question for you guys is, if you could be a dinosaur, what would you be?
Something that's a predator, not prey.
No, I'd be an herbivore, you know? I mean, come on. I just want a salad. I really have no desire to go through the whole killing, tearing, cleaning the teeth. It's just not worth it. I would prefer a nice tall tree. You got a nice vista. You can look around. Yeah.
Do I have
Struggling
any
with this.
takers? We could be a pack of raptors together. Maybe that would work.
You mean if we were in a group?
Yeah, we could be a pack of raptors. We don't just have to be an individual dinosaur.
It's like if you wanted to be a gang member.
Yeah, yes. My secret desire.
I wouldn't be vegetarian.
Thank you so much for your
Take
question.
that to the bank. All right. There you go.
Hello, Straw Hat. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
Hi, my name is Basim, and what was your favorite part of acting?
Ooh, big question.
I like one of the features of the franchise is the combination of CGI and live
Animatronics?
animatronics, and puppetry. And so in the hatchery scene, I was delighted that there was so much of that live action, real people operating this very intricate, very complicated puppet, and how interesting and wonderful it is to act with something like that actually magically starts to have almost what feels like a soul or a spirit that you can respond to, like it was a real thing, like it was a real living thing. That's quite amazing to me. And I think the movie, the whole franchise, captures something that's very unique in filmmaking, which is that the audiences as well as the actors can create a moment that feels believable. And I think that's really wonderful.
If I can add to that for just a moment, I mean, that for an actor, you go through so many different experiences as an actor and pretending to be things and so on. But when you get on a Steven Spielberg film and it's a science fiction film and it's this film, it's like joining the space program that you always wondered, what would it be like to be an astronaut, to be inside the ships, to deal with the controls, to look outside the window. Well, you're there. You're there. I mean, the Raptors are astonishing. My favorite thing was working in the control room, at my console. And on the walk there are all these guys from Sun Microsystems underneath operating the computers above. And there's a garage of 6 Raptors hanging. And you walk by these Raptors and you walk up the stairs to this thing and there's a psych of the outside of it. And it's just movie making at its peak where you're just really excited to be part of it. It's pretty cool.
Thank you so much for your question, Luffy. Next friend, what is your name, where are you from, and what is your question?
Hello, my name is Madeline. I'm from New Lenox, Illinois, and I'm just curious if any of you took lessons or themes from the shoot and took them further into your career or just your life in general and what that was like.
We went through a hurricane when we were shooting. Another eventful day.
And it hit on my birthday.
That's right. We both had very eventful birthdays.
Okay, so no shoots on either of your birthdays going forward?
Yeah, exactly. So at first we were going to evacuate, and then Stephen was just like, oh no, I've been through these things before, we're just going to stay. Category 5, hurricane. The biggest one at that point that had ever hit the United States. Okay, we're going to stay. Yeah, great. But Stephen took the opportunity to actually film the hurricane as it was approaching to get some B-roll for the movie because there's supposed to be a storm in the movie. Mm-hmm. And that kind of dedication from a director to stand there.
It's the camera operator's dedication, not the director's dedication.
Yeah, you're probably right. He was probably a monitor. No, he was out there though. He was out there in the thick of it. I just felt like that was something that was just man, I need to love what I do as much as this guy loves what he does. And that is something that I've thought about ever since I've directed a little bit, but it works still with acting. It's just I gotta love it that much that I'm gonna kind of face the danger, face the elements, and do whatever needs to be done to get the thing that's gonna make the movie the best it can be.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I had a takeaway from watching Stephen direct. I remember hanging out on the set in between scenes and watching Stephen prepare the next scene. And he often used this hand motion when he was framing up a scene in his mind. So I found myself as I developed my visual arts and I became an oil painter and I was always working on developing a composition for a canvas that I would start looking at the world in that way and I would frame things up with my hands that way as I was looking at the world. That was something that I took away from his style.
Great question. Thank you so much. Hello, friend. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
My name is Tanjiro Kamada, and I'm from Wisconsin. And what's your guys' would you say a scene that you actually got scared in?
I mean, mine was actually, this is not where you're gonna think it was gonna be, but mine was when we had to be lowered down in the mud, when the T-Rex is pushing down on the car and it's flipped upside down. Because I don't have any fear of heights, so I love the fence stuff. I wasn't afraid of the dinosaurs. I thought they were cool, but I have a fear of drowning. And so that car was on hydraulics, and we were literally just being lowered down into a vat of oatmeal, essentially, and just hoping that it worked and it stopped before we went under. It was really freaky about that one.
I got scared in my death scene, from just the knowledge that I'm going to go through this. I'm going to fall off this waterfall. I'm going to get up. I'm going to climb up this thing. They're going to shoot me with a bunch of different goop. And then I'm going to get in this Jeep with this thing, and somebody's going to shoot me in the face with some stuff. So I'm scared of the actual filming, not the story. I found the filming scarier than the story. There would be death at the end of the story. I would have to be cleaned up at the end of this.
I was scared about how many times they were going to have the dinosaur sneeze on me. It ended up being 3 times.
Was that too many times?
It was, and they had the makeup lady come see me in between and get this wet cloth that she's wiping the slime off of me.
So what was the dinosaur phlegm made out of?
It was just a clear goo, but they had to add spinach into it for texture.
No one is going to look at a salad the same ever again. BD, anything that terrified you?
Sorry?
Anything that terrified you on set?
No, but I was like I said before, I was genuinely nervous around Spielberg and in the world of the set. It was one of the first film experiences I had ever had, and so that was more of an organic kind of fear rather than there was nothing scary in my scene. I did have more scarier moments when in the other movies in the Jurassic World movies where they were actually when we're running around and it was supposed to be scary, so there were a few of those.
Thank you so much for your question, Tanjiro. Hi, friend. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
Hi, my name is Catherine. I'm from New Lenox, Illinois. And my question is, if you could choose to be in a scene that your character isn't in, which would you choose?
Man on toilet.
Man on toilet.
That is the headline that all the news sites are going to run out of this panel.
See that I wasn't in.
I think the iconic scene when Sam stands up out of the Jeep and looks at the first moment of dinosaurs is an iconic cinematic movie history moment. I would love to have been in something like that. That's just great. We all remember the movie partly from that one shot, actually. And or is it Laura that stands up in whoever's standing up? Somebody's standing up. But that's an enviable kind of cinema moment to me.
Great question. Thank you so much. Hi, friend. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
Hi, I'm Bader, and I'm from Chicago. My question is, which cast member would not survive in real life?
Which cast member would not survive in real life the events of the movie?
So real life person?
Mm-hmm.
Me? I was worthless.
I didn't survive the scene. How would I survive in real life? Barely could get in the Jeep.
Somehow I don't think the kids would be surviving without some help.
Yeah. Great question. And I thought initially that the tacit silence was going to mean that everyone agreed that Joe was going to be the person to not survive. So thank you for that.
I'm going to be the slowest, right? Like, I'm the smallest one.
Yeah.
You don't have to outrun the dinosaur. You just have to outrun Tim. And you're going to do it.
Great question. Thank you so much.
And I can't drive even.
Thank you.
Hi, friend. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
Hi, my name is Olivia. I'm from Mount Prospect. My question is, what is your favorite scene? It could be any movie, even world. What is your favorite scene that you either filmed or just in general?
Favorite scene?
In one of the Jurassic movies, though.
Yes.
Okay.
The final scene of Jurassic World Dominion, which is the last of this trilogy, it just happened to be because movie schedules are just all over the place. You never know who's going to be called that day or who's in the final scene or whatever. They scheduled the final scene to be the final scene of the movie in which all of the principal characters were in it together. This is in the scene when we're running around in the courtyard, and the T-Rex, the logo happens in the thing, and that was election night 2020, and we were all in London, and the returns were coming in, and they made a lounge for us that we all got to sit in between takes all together. So I sat randomly with Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, and Sam Neill, watching the election results on kind of pins and needles, and that is burned in my memory as a strange confluence of my life and the movies and we weren't supposed to talk about politics, but
Look, it was what did we not want people to ask us? You brought that up all on your own.
But that was a favorite kind of memory for me. That movie, Dominion, was the first movie to shut down during COVID and the first movie to open back up. And we were all in quarantine, where I think we're kind of loosely the basis for that Judge Apatow movie about the movie that's in quarantine. And it was an incredible experience to have these personal fears and trepidations about what was happening in the world from a health perspective, and desperately wanting to get back to work. The industry wondering what would happen to itself and all of that. And they put us all in this big, rather fancy mansion hotel in London, or outside of London. They wouldn't let us leave. There was a whole very strict protocol. It was the first movie to establish those kinds of protocols. You came, when you arrived on set, everyone came in different times in different places, from different places. You were quarantined in your room for 4 days. You couldn't see anybody until after the 4 days you got tested. Then you could go into the room where everyone else was hanging out and commune with them. And so it was like living with the cast of the movie in a very intense and very warm way, actually. It was really nice. I had my birthday there. So that whole kind of mood of that movie and the weirdness of it, I was doing volunteer work, or trying to do volunteer work for one of the presidential candidates, and I was doing it through Zoom, and in the thing, there was also Chris Pratt had this fancy chef, and he shared the chef with everyone. So someone would knock on your door, and you open the door, and there was no person there but a bag of food, and the food was really fancy food, like lobster and stuff like that. And so the whole experience was like nothing I'd ever experienced before, or I imagine will ever experience again. We had Halloween with Jeff Goldblum's kids, and we all dressed up, and the kids just went to our different rooms and places, so we created this kind of weird microcosm of life within this work experience. Really super memorable, super interesting, very favorite for me, kind of from a career perspective.
Wow. Cool.
I would say a favorite scene for me to film in Jurassic was probably the kitchen scene with the raptors. We had a week or two where we just focused on Joe and me, got to focus on that role together and be with Steven and the raptors and go into that intensity of emotion, just us, no other distractions during that time. So I got to try to dig deeper as an actress and try find something new. And something Steven introduced to me during that scene was a new angle to kind of attack that moment. And he wanted me to get more hysterical. I hadn't quite nailed it the way he was envisioning when we did the first take. So he said, so now do it again, okay? And I want to see you completely lose it when you run at that freezer door to save your brother. I want you to just unhinge. I want you to scare us. So that was a pretty memorable acting moment, I think.
Mine is not really about acting, it's about the experience of doing the movie. I got cast in this movie without ever having met Steven Spielberg. I'm flying off to Hawaii and to start filming. And I'm in the hotel, and they put me in a van and take me up this cane road that goes all the way up to Blue Hole, and it's a long, bumpy, rainy, muddy kind of deal. And we get to the top of it, and there are the gates of Jurassic Park. And we go through these trucks, it looks like Patton's army is here. and you're being pushed to the front of the army, and at the base of the gate is a little man, and as you get closer, it's Steven Spielberg. And Spielberg is doing the gesture while looking at the gate. They get me out of the van, and I walk up to Steven, and Steven's standing there. I look at him, and I say, I hope I'm the one you wanted. He says, you're the one. That was my moment.
I'm going to go with one I wasn't in because I had the awesome experience of being able to see the movie for the first time at the premiere. And, I was only 10 years old when it came out, and we're kind of in half the movie, and then there's another half of the movie going on. And so, I really didn't, remember kind of from the script what was going on over there. And when the moment happens, spoiler, so I hope you've all seen the movie. Okay. When Ellie, Laura Dern's character, says we're back in business, and the raptor comes up from behind her and goes right against her on that little gate or whatever it was, and I jumped out of my seat. And then the next moment, there's a severed arm on her back, and I am just like, I am too young for this movie. So it's one of the most memorable experiences I've ever had in a movie theater, so going with that.
Thank you so much. Hi, friends. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
Hi, my name is Darby. I'm from the south suburbs.
What is the dino's name, please?
Oh, his name is Sir Sergeant Captain Wobbles III.
Excellent.
And my question
I knew his grandfather.
My question is more specifically for the kids, but what was your reaction to being cast in Jurassic Park?
Ooh.
Woohoo! I was, Steven actually, I auditioned for Hook. That was the movie he made before Jurassic. I was on the set of a movie called Radio Flyer. Richard Donner was the director. Thank you. I love that movie. Richard Donner was the director who also directed Goonies. He and Steven were best friends because of that experience. So Steven was coming on set of Radio Flyer to see me to play the little boy in Hook. I did a screen test with Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, and Steven Spielberg and me in a room. Crazy. It was an amazing experience. Robin Williams was making me laugh the whole time. I couldn't keep my character together, but I didn't get the role because Dustin Hoffman felt like I was just a little too young, I looked a little too sweet, and that made Hook look too mean, and he wanted to be a more comedic villain than someone who was nasty. So he kind of put the kibosh on that, and Steven came up to me and he said, "Don't worry, Joey, I'm going to get you in a movie this summer."
Wow.
And that was the best job I never got.
My audition experience was interesting. Steven had been aware of my work as well as an actress, because I started acting when I was 6, and he'd seen me in a number of different projects. I think one of the first ones was Space Invaders that I did when I was about 8 years old. And then he was aware of my work in another movie called Disaster in Time that was actually filmed in Oregon. And then, so basically he liked my acting, I guess, already, although I didn't know of him personally. I heard of him, even though I was young. Wow, Steven Spielberg. So I'm on the way to Disneyland with my sister and my mom for the day when we get a phone call. My agent says Steven Spielberg wants me to meet him at Amblin at his office. So we then put our Disneyland plans on hold, and we change gears and we head over to Amblin to meet him. And I walked into his office, and he just put me at ease right away. He ended up, just being so easy to talk to. I thought we were going to talk about acting, and he just wanted to talk about life and what were my hobbies, talk about horseback riding, talk about sports. Then he had this great arcade in there, and I remember playing something like our big arcade game on this big giant arcade and just chatting away. And after a few minutes of that, he said to me, "So, Ariana, are you busy this summer?" To which I, of course, said no. And he said, "Well, great. Then you've got the job. You're Lex."
Thank you so much for your great question. Hi, nice friend. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
My name is Gabriel. I'm from Michigan.
Woo.
Heck yeah. So from your experiences from working with Steven, what advice or what piece of advice would you give to young filmmakers like myself on how to foster a good working relationship with actors to get the best performances out of them?
Good question.
I would say connect with them as human beings. That what Stephen does in a weird way is try to connect, and I think that the name DreamWorks was a really good name, because I think he tries to connect with what's inside you and then tries to see how to get that to where he wants it to be. And so he has to communicate with you on a human basis. You do result talking like, I need you to be scared now, I need you to be this now, but at the same time, there's a humanity there, so you don't feel like you're being completely manipulated. You feel like you're being instilled to get there, and that you want to get there, that that's part of your goal. That pleasing him doesn't feel like you're being forced into something. It's like you're being welcomed into something that will be really good. You know? So.
I went to USC Film School, and I partly wanted to do that because of Steven, and I had to take a directing actors class. And boy, it was so stupid. Like, I love USC, fight on. But that was the dumbest class ever. Like, the teacher was like, oh, you have to speak to actors this way and use action verbs and blah, blah, blah. I was just sitting there going like, what? Who is telling us this? Who are you? Why are you saying these things? Like, they acted like actors were robots, and in order to for us to work, you had to say the magic word. But it's not like that. We're all individuals. We all have different processes. We all need different amounts of support, emotional, whatever it is. We all have different methods, or none at all. You know what I mean? Some are spontaneous, some are in character all the time. Like every individual is different. So to be, I think, a really great director, you have to know the individual you're dealing with, and then adapt to and understand what they need. And that's kind of the best way to do it.
It's a great answer.
Very good.
These are really, really great answers. I don't have very much more to add to it. I would say that the director-actor relationship is like a very mysterious relationship that over time, as an actor, you really do, you can't help but compare directors to each other and understand what ends up working for you for one director over another. And I've always thought, and I've always felt that directors who had some kind of acting experience really understood a little bit more of the actor's process, and they were able to direct actors from a personal point of view, understanding empathetically what it is that we're actually doing, like the mechanics of it, how it feels to be directed, and what words work and what words don't. You can't really make a glossary of words that work or don't work, but you can say, look, you got to kind of put yourself into their shoes and understand what it is. So that, I thought, Steven Spielberg had a really incredible way of being. His people skills were incredibly warm and yet very precise and very specific and and he had them. He had a real. He knew what he wanted. Without question. And the only other thing I would say is that vision is super important. The thing about Steven Spielberg is there's absolute, immaculate, three-dimensional, vast vision. The world that we are entering is the world he knows everything about, every detail about it. He's the man that answers all the questions that all the designers, all the actors can come to one person and answer those questions. So that vision can't be arbitrary. That vision has to be specific and related to the story that it is that you want to tell.
And when it comes to, good. Are you finished? I'll go ahead and add one more thing. I think that watching how Steven Spielberg worked with us, one thing I noticed was a sense of enthusiasm. And when an actor gets it right, different directors I work with, but especially Steven, he was very good at emoting that enthusiasm, maybe in part because Joe and I were so young, so he was especially enthusiastic, but if we got something right, he would be leaping out of his director's chair saying, that was perfect, that was just what I wanted. And that kind of enthusiasm, I think, is fuel to the fire to want to run to set, to create that next scene.
I think that's such a good point because, the director's default is criticism because they're giving you adjustments. They're always giving you adjustments. Do it this way instead of the way you did it. And so to give an actor positive reinforcement in balance to that is super important to you as a person, right? That's part of the bedside manner that I feel was really essential.
Great question. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Teen Titans. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
Good morning, everyone. Kirby Alexander from Chicago Heights. So my question is, were there any gremlin-type moments, like where something went wrong on set from like a mechanical or animatronic perspective?
Well, Joe split his head open.
Yep. We've been getting this question a lot, actually. The T-Rex, there was a malfunction on set. When that scene happens where the plexiglass from the top of the Jeep, when the T-Rex comes down on us and it's supposed to kind of like, push the plexiglass down on top of us and we're like kind of holding the plexiglass and we're in between us and the dinosaur. Eventually doing that, something went wrong. I was told by a fan, actually, that the reason it happened is because the T-Rex got waterlogged. And that sounds maybe right, because one take, it came down further than it was supposed to and faster than it was supposed to. And instead of just pushing the plexiglass, it snapped it in half. And the T-Rex's tooth fell out. Steven spent a half hour trying to get this tooth back in and eventually got frustrated and said, forget it, we're just going to keep going. So if you go back and watch the movie, there is one shot of the T-Rex where her front tooth is missing. And so if you have the Blu-ray or the digital copy, pause it on that scene and you will see it.
Cool.
Thank you so much for your question. Hi, friend. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
Hi, my name is Sydney. I'm from Elk Grove. And this question is for Wayne Knight. It's kind of an odd question, but how would Officer Don do on the island?
How would Officer Don do on the island?
Yeah.
He'd do very well. He'd do very, very well. Now, I have no idea. I doubt that his revolver would be sufficient. But I think he would follow as many rules as possible until he died.
Thank you. That was a great question. Hi, friend. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
Hi, my name is Alicia. I'm from Chicago. Okay, I apologize if this is a very cliche question, but I have been saying this line in my head from the beginning of time, and so I must know when you said, that's not the magic word. How many takes was that? Was like a, was just like one take, or was just like, oh, do that one more time?
You know, actually, it's, I think while we were shooting, you know, just say this. You say, okay. Then they animate it. So it was like an offhanded line that then turns into this meme and icon. Sorry.
Thank you, and that was a great question. Hi, friend. What is your name? Where are you from? And what is your question?
Hi, my name is Adrian. I live here in Chicago, and I have a little bit of a different question. What are your thoughts on the field of paleontology right now and how the science has evolved from the 90s when the story was originally written to what we know now about dinosaurs and paleo life, and like what's different and what's the same about like dinosaurs and everything? Wow. If you have ever thought about it ever after the movie was finished, if you've ever thought about dinosaurs again.
One quick thing, I don't think paleontology has gotten better in any way, but there are many more paleontologists at these conventions. I mean, a lot of paleontologists. It's really pretty amazing. And also, it seems like there are a lot of big birds walking around. You know, that paleontology, after Jurassic, entered into a new phase in which the concept of what the dinosaurs looked like and how they responded and how they acted became fascinating to science in a way that it hadn't been before. I believe that when I was a kid, we had generic kind of dinosaurs from the time I was 6 until the movie. You know, they were all green or grayish, and then we had, there was a Triceratops, and there was a pterodactyl, and there was a Brontosaurus, and T-Rex. That's about it. You know, we didn't have a diversity of sizes and functions and flying and stuff, you know. And I think that just fascination with the world in general is a wonderful thing to foster, and that the Jurassic series of films has fostered that kind of fascination, and that's only good.
Thank you so much for your question. Before we get to this question, this is going to be our last question. If you're mad, my name is Ashley. My job is to make sure we get out of here on time. You can complain about me in the post-show survey. Please don't leave yet, though. We are going to take a big selfie together at the end so that you can find yourselves and tag yourselves. So, nice friend, what is your name, where are you from, and why is this the last question?
It's a silly one, but I'm Liz from Chicago, and my question to everybody is, what's your favorite dinosaur joke, whether it's from the movie or one that you have since heard?
Man in toilet.
He said man on the toilet again.
My favorite dinosaur joke is in the movie Jurassic Park. The idea is, who can you kill in a movie with killer dinosaurs that has kids in it, that has nice people in it, that has people you don't want harm coming to them? A glutton, a guy who smokes a lot, and a lawyer.
Thank you so much for such a great final question. Lovely friends backstage, could we possibly bring the house lights up for our photo?
Thank you, guys. That was awesome.
And then everyone, if you stand up, you'll be easier to spot in the photo.